you, just for people that might be watching this, could you introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about what you do and your organisation?
Sure, so I'm Gemma Britton from Peace Direct, and I'm the head of fundraising and communications here. So firstly, Peace Direct supports local peace building efforts around the world. So we support local people and local organisations living and working in areas of conflict and violence to find their own solutions to war and to prevent violence from breaking out in the first place. So we don't necessarily claim to know it all, but what we can do is provide financial support, capacity building, training, emotional support, and all those other things, and an international platform to ensure that these amazing, brave, courageous, dedicated people around the world can actually do what they do best, and that's find ways to build peace in their communities.
Fantastic, thank you. That's a cause that really chimes with my values, and I'm sure a lot of people will say the same. So could you describe the situation before we ran the training, what your email program was like and the kind of results you were getting from it and how you felt about it?
Sure. So we before we had the training with you, I suppose we had our email program was very, I suppose, quite formulaic in that it followed quite a typical newsletter style approach, in that we aimed to send something out once a month to subscribers, and it generally took the form of a roundup of the blogs that we'd published during that month. So it would typically be sort of a fairly brief communication that just highlighted 3 or 4 different stories that people could read on the website, and that's something we've been doing for a while. And sort of engagement with it wasn't particularly groundbreaking. We always had a sense, or I've always had a sense, that we could probably be using email in a bit of a different way and not just relying on the blogs, because actually, you know, I felt and the team felt we've got lots to say and lots of ways that we want to engage with people, and lots of things that we want to ask people to do, not just focus on money, but including fundraising asks, but always having to wait a month and having to base everything around the creation of blogs, which can be quite time intensive, wasn't necessarily working for us. And this, I suppose, the conversation came up as part of a wider project that we'll be doing, looking at the whole of the digital ecosystem here at Peace Direct. We've done a big piece of work looking to start building our email base, so the number of people who are subscribed to us, and we felt that was the sort of the optimum moment to actually really start scrutinising how we're using email, what we're saying, why we're saying it, and actually to come together as a group, to come together as a team to really identify and agree on how we want to use email. And yeah, so we felt we could do better, but we weren't quite sure what that should look like, and that's where you came in.
Hey, great, thank you. So how did you find the training? Did you have any big aha moments? Do you feel that it was yeah, just tell me about your experience of the learning.
Well, training was absolutely fantastic, I have to say, and there wasn't just one aha moment. I think we all had many aha moments. And the great thing was, so not, you know, for me personally, I felt I learned a lot, but across the team, everyone felt that actually, not to play down what you talked us through, but that it made really good sense. It's a lot of common sense principles that I think you helped us to identify and introduce to us, but actually having that time to kind of talk them through, that it wasn't, you know, what you showed us wasn't based on your personal opinion or small anecdotes or a couple of conversations with people with, you know, the loudest voices in the room, but actually based on evidence, based on data, you know, identifying what best practice is, and then from there building on what actually best practice looks like for Peace Direct. I think that was something that really made a lot of sense to us all, and that we can try things, we can try new things, but actually using the data to determine what's actually going to be the best way forward for us. I think that's a message that really resonated, and that's something that's really helping us to stay focused. Because I think we had lots of creative ideas, and everyone's got thoughts around how we should and can be using email, but we keep coming back to sort of some of the core principles that you showed us, and that's really helping us, like I say, to remain focused and scrutinize in a helpful, in sort of a critical friend way what we're each producing. So some of the key things that you helped us to identify. So for example, one email, one ask isn't as easy as it sounds, but makes such good sense. And we're all, we're really sort of staying focused on that. Things like the language we're using, it really, the idea of emails being interruption proof really resonated with me. I'm all for making, not just an email, but the language we use, how we describe our work, how we communicate with the wider public, making it really accessible and inclusive. It's something I'm really keen on, but I think the science behind an email being interruption proof has helped to sort of cement that as well. And I think I suppose the third thing for me that really came across was the kind of the personal interaction between the person writing the email, or whose story it is we're telling, and the reader. I think has really kind of shone through in what we've done since.
Okay, that's marvelous. Thank you. So when you started putting that learning into practice, what kind of difference did you see in your results?
So there is, we've had some really, I suppose we're still, our email list is still relatively small, but in terms of click-through rates, we've seen really sort of quite significant upticks already. So I think since we did the workshop with you and started embedding some of the learnings from that, I think the lowest click-through rate we've had has been about 35%, but up to 48, I think, was maybe the highest one from last week. So
wow,
a really significant jump, and it's been consistent. It's not been sort of 30, 10, 50. So it seems to be slowly increasing, which is fantastic. And
that is huge.
When I've got a team of really talented, engaged people, when they can see that actually the hard work and the commitment and the focus to following what we've learned actually making a difference to the results, I think it's almost like in a really positive way, people are starting to compete with themselves to create a better click-through rates just by tweaking and that kind of thing. So it's that's been really good. The other really interesting thing, and it's something that I know you really encouraged us to think about how we can get people to reply to emails. Firstly, that's a really wonderful thing to do for engagement and to build relationships with people, but also in terms of us sort of not cheating the system, but so to overcome any sort of spam or junk filters. We're seeing lots of responses, people emailing us back, telling us stuff, sharing thoughts, sharing ideas, or even just saying thank you so much. It was nice to hear from you, which is really lovely. And even emails where we're not asking people to reply, they are now starting to reply and respond without prompting. So that poses a different welcome challenge in how we then manage that, but that's something we are working through, and that's a great challenge to have. But
definitely, what a wonderful problem to have exactly. more good stuff coming in than you can handle.
Absolutely, and that's, for me, that's a really big shift from what we were experiencing before. People weren't replying to a blog roundup. They weren't the same way. So I think it really shows that people are reading, people are appreciating, they get it, and I think it feels like it's been a really quick, rapid shift into how we're engaging with people, and that they're interested and they like hearing from us.
Brilliant. So, have you seen any impacts? What sort of impacts have you seen on your fundraising as a result?
Well, nothing significant of note yet, but that's partly because we've not really asked for any money. So what we based on sort of following the training, we identified a whole suite with your support, and then beyond it, a whole suite of soft asks and then hard asks. But some of the hard asks that we've incorporated into the program using your sort of 3-to-1 ratio have been more come to an event, sign up for particular things, and that's sort of served because that's where the need's been. So the first, I suppose, really formalised fundraising ask is going to come in the next couple of weeks. So I'll be able to report back then. But I truly believe that the work we've been doing up to date is going to really sort of reap rewards when we next ask people for money. So watch this space.
Okay, right. So having a click-through rate of between 30% and 40%, I mean that bodes super well for fundraising, especially when normally it's way lower. So okay, all right. Well, please let me know about that.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you'd like to add?
I think the one thing that's really struck me in terms of not only the mechanism that we follow to create good email and best practice and all that very important stuff is just how I think I just really want to re-emphasize how it's really helped us as a team to focus and just really support one another to create the very best emails that we can. So when we have a really great process by which we don't want things to take ages, but where whoever's tasked with creating the next email will circulate it to the group, and we've all, because we're all working to the same principles that we've agreed with your support, we all know what we're looking for, and it tends to be now just very small tweaks just to create the best kind of thing. But being able to, from sort of start to actually an email going out, the time frame has been like significantly reduced because we know what those principles are, and the person who's creating the email knows what they should be doing and what they're focusing on. So I think that in terms of efficiencies and workload, I think that's had a really big and positive impact for Peace Direct, given that like every other organisation, we've got so much else going on. That's much appreciated. But I think, and just the final thing is just the creativity that I think it's brought out in the team, because it's not just a formula of a summary of blogs. It's been actually, okay, this week or in the next few weeks, we're mapping out our email. What can we say? What do we want to do? What stories have we got to share? What interesting, unexpected things? And what we're finding is that we've got many more things than we've actually got space to share. So again, that's a really great pickle to find ourselves in. That because we're not following that old formula anymore. We're like, the team are now bringing many more things to the table. And then I feel that will then start to impact on other areas of our communications as well.
Oh, wonderful. So you mentioned that actually going through this process has unexpectedly saved you time, and the process has shortened. How many hours of work would you say that this has saved you per week as a whole team?
I think that's a good question. 2 or 3 maybe in a week, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Over the year, that will add up a lot.
So yeah.
Okay. Amazing. All right. Well, that's all the questions that I had for you.
Great.
I really appreciate your time.